if I say there's nothing wrong with a job except for I don't want one. Like I want unlimited income, unlimited fun, and I want the ability to go hunting, fishing, touring, and have more money come in when I'm not there. Some people call that residual income, but a business that runs when you're not there is residual income. Like these dumb insurance agents. If you ever talked to them, they've been there 20 years, tell me about your renewals. Or tell me about your renewals. You know what I'm talking. What kind of renewals y'all got? And I go, you've been in insurance. I like this. Like, I love this when I've been in insurance 3 years and they've been in 20, and they ask me about, well, if I come to work for y'all, what is your renewal stream? I go, you've been in 20 years. What is yours? Like, please, God, show me your statement. And they go, I know that. I mean, what percentage do y'all pay? I go, I don't know. Show me your statement. How much you making after 20 years? All your genius detection of how much is your renewals. You know, so owning a business is a massive renewals. And by the way, the people that are watching in on, they can't raise their hand, but if something that sounds crazy to any of y'all, raise your hand and stop me and say, what do you mean by this? Okay, don't just interrupt me. I don't care. But what I'm getting at is, if you want to run a business, I'm talking to you. Okay, now everything I'm going to say applies to sales, but it applies more if you want unlimited income and you want to own your own business. This stands out at me. Like when I think about James and Cherish, I'm thinking sophisticated business owners, these adults. They figured out how to make babies. They figured out how to buy a house. They got cars. They've traveled international. They got a passport. They're smart as everything. And then when I come in here and start making fun of, no, I mean, like, I don't know how to, like seriously, you clean your own bathrooms? Like seriously, you pick up your own laundry? Like seriously, you mow your own yard? Seriously? Like not, I'm not trying to offend, but I'm going like, if you're making $250,000 and you're doing that stuff, and you say, why would you not keep doing that? Are you just an arrogant, uppity person? No, I'm a giver, and I want to give somebody a job that can't do what I do. Because see, I can do this, but they can't, but they can do this. Like me and my wife have sometimes I go like, she'll be doing something, I go, you know that's Todd's job. And she said, no, he appreciated it. I said, no, he's going to think you're taking his job. You know what I mean? Like let them do their job. And so when you said earlier this week, you said, I made fun of you for for cleaning your own toilets. Like I don't I don't know. If you go home, just look around like where your toilet meets the ground. I don't like that area. You know what I'm saying? Like that's toothbrush area. I want that clean. I don't know, gum. Look like gum up in there. You know. Like, do you clean that yourself, or do y'all have gum, or do you make your wife do it? So he said, we got somebody to do it, and now we ain't ever let up. Where'd Veray go? Veray, we not argued about it, but I was like, guys, let somebody else do it. So the concept of owning your business, having a business, not just making $200,000 selling or $150,000. And don't get me wrong, I've got guys that I love. I love these people. They're making $50,000 or $60,000 with us, and they work 1 or 2 days a week. Okay, I love them, but do you understand how difficult for me it is to impress my boss when the people I have are stagnant? Because my boss is not impressed unless I'm growing. So I love this person who's a solid $60,000 a year producer income, right? And they're paying their bills and they're just content. But it's hard for me to get my points. And I go, I understand it's not about me, it's about you, whether you're happy. So I'm happy with you, and I'm not mad, but I've always got to identify the people that say, ooh, I'd like to grow. Because then what I can do is I can pick and choose who I want to be friends with. And a lot of people are like, shouldn't you just be friends with who you like? Well, who I like is who like me to get liked by my boss. Like I'm prejudiced toward people that want to help me succeed and impress my boss, right? So I'm not complicated like that. Like pastors, like pastors saying like love unconditionally, treat everybody the same. But I guarantee you that some people's texts get returned faster than other people's text. Some people get a text, other people get a phone call. Right? They treat everybody the same, but some people get a phone call. Some people get a lunch appointment if they ask for one. Other people, they're on a get back program. I get back to you on that. I get back to you. I love you, mean it. Right? Because the Bible teaches us, but it teaches them like to not cast your pearls before swine, or not talk to somebody that ain't listening. Don't try to make chicken salad out of chicken poop. Yeah. You don't want to be talking and have people ain't listening. Then you're wasting the God-given energy and enthusiasm. You're wasting it on the wrong people. So that's kind of my discrimination thing, is try to find people that want what I want, which is growth. But if they don't want it and they're nice people, I try to love and be super available, nice, but there's just nothing. Because I have people that have been sitting in the same place for 3 years and they want me to scream at them. Like scream at me. I'm like, I'm not screaming at you. You're a nice person. But you're screaming at her. Yes, she wants to grow. You know what I mean? Like that's I mean, parenting. Who's got little kids? Anybody got little kids? Like this is something I heard. You don't take parenting advice or business advice from me. You don't want to. But kid comes in the room. Okay, I want you to scream at me. Right? That's what people go. Who wants people to scream at them? Everybody does. Kid comes in a room and goes, right? What does he want? He want to get a whooping or you to laugh like crazy. I don't know which is the worst parents. The ones that beat the hell out of them, or the ones that laugh because they come in a room and farted and go, do it again. Did you hear that? That's funny. We know those people. Some of us are those people. Or you just slap the snot up. So you want a behavior to disappear, ignore it. So if they come in a room and you don't even hear it, they will not do it again. You spank them, they're going to do it again because of attention. You laugh at them, they're going to do it again because of attention. You ignore it, why are they going to do it again? They don't get no attention. Because they don't get paid money, they get paid with attention. They either get paid with hate or paid with love. They get paid with emotion. So a person doing $60,000, I got to give them enough love. I want somebody to love on them because I don't want them to quit the behavior, right? But the ones that I'm really screaming at is the ones that I want to give my attention to. I want to give my attention, but I've got to give the other ones attention. So they're all invited. Everybody's equal and allowed to listen and look, but they don't get screamed at. And a lot of times they're like, I don't want to get screamed at. Okay, great, because I'm not going to be talking to you. But I wanted to, It is so hard for people to grasp. If you're complaining and not happy, then I'm not excited to tell you the future plans and all the good stuff that's happening. And then people are like, well, do you want me to fake like I'm happy? No, I want you to actually be happy, because the most exciting thing I think you can find out is anybody can be successful with us. Anybody. And you go like, not everybody's successful. I go, that's not what I said. Anybody can be. It's not everybody is. It's anybody can be. And we've not had anybody fail that didn't quit. Everybody that stuck with it has made it. And we've had people just take 2 years and just doing terrible. And now they're making 6 figures. To me, they didn't fail. To me, they succeeded. We don't put it down as a failure because they failed for 2 years. We don't do that. We go like, they're figuring it out. They're working through it. They're getting their life. They're getting their family set up. Their mama's, going through this. Their husband, their marriage, their children, their health. They're going through it. And then they start succeeding just because they didn't quit. Okay. So I guess I can use this way back here. I haven't marked on this. Oh, I did. It worked. Okay. So for you guys that I'm going to be screaming at, and anybody that's listening in, figures lie. No. Figures don't lie, but liars figure. Okay? So when I ask a person how many sales or how many phone calls you make this week, and they start telling stories. So let me tell you what happened. I go, what happened needs to start with a number. Because if what happened starts with your mama, your spouse, the fire department, a dog, no, we're talking figures, okay? So here's one of my first figures that I want to throw out to people, 168. Now, you can mess people up if you say, how many hours in a week? And people be like, all kinds of stuff. And I go, like, there's 7 days. You agree on that? There's 24 hours. Do you know what 7 times 24 is? And that really messes them up. You can use your phone. Or it's just 7 times 4, 7 is 14, plus 14 is 28, so there's an 8. And then the 7 times 2 is a 14, and you carried 2, there's 16. So it's 168. So you get people, the first thing is getting people to agree that there's 168 hours in a week. And that's a challenge in some organizations. You know what I'm saying? Like, they will argue with you about everything. So you start going, there's 168 hours in a week. And so what do you want to make? 100 grand a year? Do you want to make $1 million a year? What do you want to make? Well, there's only 168 times 52 weeks. So this is how many hours you got to generate that kind of money. There's different ways to show it. I'm gonna go with this method. Like this method right here, that's your skill, Michelle, might be, except for the franchising thing, let's call it $200 an hour. But in networking or franchising, you could say it's $10,000 an hour. It's really a hard number to put on this right here. What is this? This is the center of who you are. It's the most valuable thing that you can do. If you start to spread the circle out, maybe you'll understand. Right here is things that not many people can do, but you're pretty good at it. Out here might be explaining something to a carrier or explaining something to a client. It's worth a lot of money, but not as much as the $200 an hour. And so your world keeps going out at the things you're capable of doing. And I would put the literal cleaning of the house. What do we pay for that? $15 an hour? $10 an hour? So $15 an hour for this, but let's call this, let's call it $200 an hour. Just saying, not taking to the concept that it can be worth a whole lot more. All right. Ha! Okay, so out of 168 hours, the question is, how many hours do you work? So a lot of times I ask people, what all do you do? Do you exercise every day? Do you watch television? Do you do social media? Like, what do you do during the day? Well, I've got the kids. Well, if it's husband and wife, like, what's your physical activity? And then what would you like to contribute to work? I like generally people say, like, I work biblical terms. I work Monday through Saturday, yeah. And I work only, during daylight. So 7 o'clock to, say, 8 o'clock at night. I guess, so basically you're half a day for 6 days a week, right? So that would be 12 is half of 24 times 6. So that'd be 60, 12, 72 hours a week. I'd call that minimum, right? And that's if you take Sundays off. Does that make sense? It's just math. You say, well, I don't mind working from 8 a.m. until like 10 or 11. And I go, 14 times 6, 60, 6, 12, 12, 24. So 84 hours. Whew, you're getting up there and start working 80 hours a week. So how many hours are you putting in during the week? So if you're making, in a week, you're making $2,000. That's $100,000 a year. Okay, so we can just do the math. If you want to make $200,000, just be double these numbers, 10 times $1 million. Okay, so what we got to do is, I wonder if this goes back. It did. What we got to do is do more of these hours and less of these hours. We don't do less of these hours and nothing. We do less of this and more of these. Okay, so a lot of people think of if you were crazy and you did 100 hours a week. All I did was 72 and 84. But what if you wanted to work 100 hours a week? That still leaves you 68 to do what? Let's see, if you slept 8 times 7, what is that? That'd leave you 56. That'd leave you 12 hours for wife and kids, television, social media. So you can back it down. If you want to do 40 hours of work, that gives you 128 minus 56. What's 56 from 128? How much? 72. Now you got 72 hours for wife and kids and television, social media, and exercise. You with me? I don't care what you do, your life. So you can work more hours, or in the hours you can work, you could do more value per hour. I wanted to get rich quicker, so I worked more hours, and I tried to do the things that were worth the most during the hours. Okay, so let's try, I'm just playing with this. So let's do 40, and let's pretend you are making $100,000 a year. So let's try to figure it out. So if you're making 2 sales and you make $1,000 a week, and those 2 sales, it took you how long to book the appointments? How long to do the sales? Call it. Let's call it 5 hours to do this. So that's $200 an hour. Okay? $200 an hour, that's $1,000. So from 40 minus 5, that's 35 more hours that you're working to get the other $1,000. Does that make any sense? In 5 hours, you made $1,000. So in the other 35 hours that you're working, you must be making $1,000. So what's 25? What's 1,000 divided by 25? Real quick. 1,000 divided by 25. So here here you're making $200 an hour. Here you're making $40 an hour. So here you're making $200 an hour. Here you're making $40. So out of those 35, you're probably, I mean, let's call it 10, 10, 10, and 5. Because that's 35 hours. Let's say 5 hours at $15 an hour, 10 hours at $20 an hour, 10 hours of $25. What would you hit? Huh? Okay, so call this, so that's 20, call this 25, and call this, well, it's got to average 40, so it's got to do better than this. Call this 60. So what if you could take this 5 hours of cleaning a week and make $200 per hour, and now you're at $2,000 plus keep all this money that you got coming in. I know, but you have to do it. Like James said, when you said that, I hired somebody to clean my house. And I get people like, I don't know, once a week I go, it's up to you, but I mean, I want 3 to 5. I'd like somebody to live there, just to tell you the truth. My spouse is against that. Tried it at one time, didn't work. She won't want me to try. She won't try again. But I want stuff immediately fixed everywhere. Immediately fixed everywhere. That's kind of like work too, because everything gets immediately fixed everywhere. Versus at home, I got to wait until either my wife does it or Monday, Wednesday, or Friday, because I'm not doing it. Does that make, like I'm not doing it? Because I'm trying my best. I'm trying my best. What if you could do 40 hours a week at $200 an hour? What's the math on that? What's 40 times 200? 8,000? Is that right? So it's 8,000 a week times 50 weeks, 400,000. Is that right? So if you want to go from 100,000 to 400,000, you don't have to get any better at all. You just making $200 an hour, which really is low in this business. But you got to quit doing the other stuff. So if you could pay $200,000 to not do the other stuff, you get to keep $200,000. You say, but in the beginning, if I don't pay anybody, I keep all 100. But if I pay somebody, I keep all of 200. And you didn't have to clean the toilet. I think people forget the and part. They go like, and somebody brings you coffee. And they pick up dry cleaning. And they fill the car with gas. And they wash the car. And it's at $200,000 a year, it's kind of unlimited. You get 4 people for $50,000 or 3 people for 65. Like you just take the 200 and divide it up among people and get somebody that wants that job. I'd love to take care of your cars. I'd love to take care of the yard. I remember, our guy's name not Brand. Our guy was Dale, the yard man Brand. His name was Dale Brand. Yeah, Dale, the yard man Brand. It was, to me, you talk about Lamborghinis, Ferraris, this latest Cullinan, houses, hotel, things that I've bought that I've enjoyed, shotguns, hunting trips, the cabin. Dale, the yard man Brand. Baby, this cabinet's squeaking. I go, where Dale at? Like, I don't know, there's things that break and are just, it won't close right. The door won't close right. Can't find this. Like, I guess, like, I ordered something, not shocking, but I decided I don't want it. And James done taught me how to print. This I will do. I will print the return sticker. Now, I'm not going to box it and take it, but I'll hit print. And I just hit print, and Todd is a new guy. He come walking by with one of the dogs, and he's talking to the dog, and he said, hey, you need anything? I was like, yeah. There's a printer sticker being printed out in the basement right now. If you could get that printer and come back and put it with this and put it in a box. And this morning, I got up, and I was looking at my keys, and there was a receipt right there. And I was like, yeah, baby. Like, it's just, to me, that's a miracle. Not just doubling my money, going from 100,000 to 200,000. And I mean, a lot of people get upset about that. They fight me on it. It's you remember that experiment, like the sailor's this and the old man's this? They take the same thing. They want to argue about the 200,000. I go, look, you want to make 200,000, 100,000. Yeah, but it's not right. I think. And they want to go like, you saying spend 200 to make 200 when I could spend nothing at 100. I think that I could spend 140. And, and I'm going like, it's the principle of the thing. It's not deciding if you can spend 140 and keep 260. It's the principle. You got to quit doing the $5 an hour stuff. You've got to quit doing this $15 an hour stuff, and you got to do more of that stuff. Now, the next concept is, how would you like to make this? 200 is a mortgage protection term per hour, right? You make $500 a sale, call it 800, it says 400. The numbers are all relative. It's the concept that I'm trying to hammer you with. You've got to quit doing stuff that don't make $200 an hour. And then for you got to quit the $200 crap and make the $2,000 an hour stuff. So you got to, whatever this is, closing an insurance deal, you got to move that to out here or out here. But what's here? Like what is $2,000 an hour stuff? It's not the... Dan Kennedy is somebody I studied a lot. He's passed away now. Just love this guy. But he had a simple concept. If you want to make more money, you got options. You could sell more units. So you're selling 10 units a week. You could sell 20. Okay? Number 2, if your average sale is $85 a month for your 10 units, you could increase it to $170 a month and double your income by increasing the sale per unit. Y'all tracking with me on this? Now, this is really don't count as a third, but you could get more referrals, which is just more units. So it's more units or higher dollar per unit. The other way is you could get somebody else to do it, and you could get a percentage. Now, if you're only getting 10%, it takes 10 to equal 1. So you could just sell 1 extra unit, or you could get 10 people and you get 10%. It's just math. But this concept takes the lid off. Amen. Is that right? Amen. Like amen or amen? Spell it for me. Okay. Amen. Okay. That's why I want to go see the pyramids so bad in Egypt. I just want to see how a real one looks and what it feels like. We are inspirational marketing. They have pyramids. We inspire people. We inspire people, and they inspire other people, and they inspire other people, and that's what takes the lid off of your money. That's how you go $2,000, $10,000, $20,000 an hour, is when you're starting another income source and you grow that income source. So you think about it. I can make a sale and I can make $800 a pop, or I could spend $5,000 on a seminar, and now each pop is, call it $50,000 or a $5,000. So my average income from a sale used to be $500 a sale. Now my average is $5,000. So all I did is I increased the dollar per sale. So if I was making 10 at 500, and now I can do 10 at 5,000 in the same week. Okay? I'm hesitant. Well, I should tell you this part, our trick. Well, if you got a person paying $250 a week, so if I convince T-Money to do, what's your name? Shelby. If I get T-Money to do $250 a week, do 5,000 divided by 250. It's 4 times 5 is 20. 20 weeks. So in 20 weeks, I can get her to knock out X amount of premium. If the dollar put in translates into the amount of money, I'm getting $5,000 worth over 20 weeks. But if I can get her to do a seminar for $5,000 every 4 weeks, I'm getting $5,000 of value in 4 weeks. So what I'm doing is I'm compressing your time to make money. You used to make it over 20 weeks. Now you're making it over 4. So let's call, if you're selling $250, if you're buying $250 worth of leads, you should honestly be making what? What should your income be? $1,000 a week. So $20,000 over 20 weeks. Versus if I could get them to spend $5,000 and make $20,000 in 4 weeks. All it is it's more dollars per sale, and maybe not even as many sales. Maybe in 4 weeks they get just as many sales. What if they don't? Because the net is 20 grand and the net is 20 grand. What's the difference in making it over 4 weeks and 20 weeks? Well, 20 weeks is, how many months is that? God. So you could, 5 months versus 1 month. That's 500% faster, 500% quicker that you're going to be making money. So you're jamming up money. And it plays into an emotion about people. I've asked people many times, I go, you want to get rich? They go, yeah. I'd give you my left pinky. Well, that's a sacrifice. I'd give you my left thumb. And I go, let me ask you this. Would you make 400 phone calls a week? They go, I'd rather give you my thumb. Like, seriously. So getting a person to commit to $250 a week is harder because the person wants to give you their thumb. Let them give you a thumb. Let them write $5,000 check. Now, here's why some people are really smart. I know y'all, I got some really smart people. They have not picked up on seminars. You know why? Because they smelled it out. They go like, it's more work. You're in 4 weeks, you're going to have to work harder. If you spread it over 20 weeks, you can just do like 15, 20, 30 hours a week. But you start doing a seminar like that, you're going to have to work 40, 50, 60, 70 hours a week. So they go like, you're not tricking me. You're not tricking me into making more money fast. I'm going to keep slowing it down, baby. And you got to be okay with that. Because maybe they hire somebody that gets it. You understand what I'm saying? So you are trying to do more dollars per hour when you're actually working. Like, I'm up here 60 minutes. if 1 minute you're bored out of your mind, it's worthless information, and then I say something that changes your life. What if I could say something change your life every minute? I can't, but I'm trying to. Does that make sense? Like I'm not trying to bore you or just hear my voice. I'm like, how can I get them to do it? So that takes the lid off of it. So you can't, if the circle is like this, Mathis, you still back? I see. Okay, if the circle's right, if you're trying to keep it in this circle, this is the circle of $2,000 to $10,000 per hour. What you're doing is you're trying not to get out of the circle. And like it's so tempting. Like it takes me, like I ordered it at 11:30 at night. Like I ordered it. And so if I had I'll come up with a system, but now my system is I have to click on a return label. So it's like I popped out of the circle. Like get back in the circle. You know what I mean? Like I can't stay out of that circle long because like I always say, I'm not here for a long time. I'm always here for a good time. Well, I'm not here for a time to waste time. I'm here time to print money. Does that make sense? So let me give y'all a tip. When me and Spencer go conservation work, there is not a lot of $5 an hour, $15 an hour work. There ain't a lot of looking. We pay someone to look for about 10 days. They call it scout it out. Hey, Zeke, you like to scout us out and find out where the big ones are? Or did y'all want to look for them for 10 days? It'd be all right if y'all scout them out. That's cool. So you're talking about a mountain range, 30 miles, and the big ones are in there. You really want to go look for 10 days? You back to killing you just from riding around. You know what I'm saying? Like, so we pay so that when we're out of the circle driving up to the top of the mountain. But we're not driving from mountain to mountain, mountain to mountain to mountain to mountain to mountain. We want to be right here where we shoot. Right here where we make money. We want to be in the dead center of this. And some people say, I don't mind building the deer stand. I don't mind feeding them. I don't mind watching the video cameras. I don't mind doing all that research. I don't mind it either. But I got to pay for it. So to pay for it, I have to make money while I'm making money while I'm making money. I am kind of confused a little bit because I'm going from hunting to making money. But I'm saying when I go out to hunt, we're going to where the big ones are. We're not looking for the big ones. Now, when we tell the story, we camped out in the woods, almost died, finally found a herd, and it was all females. So we had to find another herd. That took 3 days, and it had a little bitty buck, so it took another, But boys, you understand, it's like we go. It's be like when you go to the basketball game. Like, when you go to a basketball game, I want it to be entertaining. Oh, how about this? This is another kid thing, ignoring them when they're doing stupid stuff. If you want your kids to like anything, think it through. Baseball, for example. Baseball's terrible if you want your kids to like it. There's massive lines getting into the stadium, massive lines getting to your seat, massive lines getting to food, massive lines to get back, and the game lasts forever. So here's what you do. If you want your kid to like baseball, about third inning, you show up, no traffic, right? You go in and you get your ticket, and then you go right to the cotton candy and apples, and you get some food. Because you don't care about the score, you don't care about the game, you care about the kids, unless you are there for yourself and pretending to your wife that you're spending time with a kid. Like if you got, you know what I'm saying? Like if you're there for the kid, this is what we do. If we're there for me, we get there early, we're shaking hands with everybody, we're watching batting practice. You know, like I'm all into it. But it's for the kid, we get there second, third inning. Go to the candy place, load them up, sit down, and no matter who does something, we're excited. The other team, this team, we're excited. You with me? We're about 3 innings, be like, well, it looks like game's wrapping up. You ready to go? Me too, let's do it. Take off. No traffic leaving. You go home to mama. How was the game? It's unbelievable. This guy hit one out of the park. We got cotton candy. There's no lines. There's no arguing. There's no missing nothing. They'd be like, I like baseball. You see how it'd be like if you want your kid to eat like watermelon, give them the heart of the watermelon, and don't tell them about the seeds. Don't tell them about the rights. And I love the parents to go like, well, I believe like you should give them all the options. I don't. I want mine to kill it. I want mine to have the best. You know, but don't you want them to have a work ethic? Yeah, on their grades, but not on eating watermelon. I mean, you know what I'm saying? Like they got to do good on their grades. And they got to be in shape, like they're exercising. You know what I'm saying? It's just like, yeah, I want them to do that, but not, I don't want to wait in line and call that, what do you call it? You're getting honor or, yeah, character. I ain't trying to build no character waiting in line. You know what I'm saying? Like builds character waiting in line 2 hours. But they're not going to like it. So I get them to like it, and then once they like it, they're going to like, well, who won the game? And they get smarter. You bring them up liking it. I don't care what the subject is. If you just give them the heart of the watermelon, maybe not many people don't like watermelon, especially just the heart, right? And a ripe, good one. You know what I mean? You cut one, like, that one's not going to work. Don't worry about that one. Let's do this one. Like, get the heart of it. So think about yourself living in the heart of making money, in the heart of fun, in the heart with a person. You would just, like, who says you got to do the bad stuff? And some people argue that that's where you build character. And I go like, you know what builds character to me is staying in the heart. You know, you got to abstain from the rind. Abstain from the boring. I'm right in the heart of the fun. That takes work and focus and builds character. You twist it how you want to. You can tell me that floating and staying lackadaisical and unfocused and goofy and you got some money and then you're broke, you got somebody, and that's building your character. Well, let's see how your character's built 30 years from now, and we'll see how my character's built 30 years from now. And by the way, beauty's in the eye of the beholder. Some people think a single wide looks better than a double wide. Some people think 1,200 square feet's better than 2,500 because you don't have to clean as much. Ain't as much to dirty up. You don't have to look for the kids as long. If you say, honey, she can hear you. There's like you can justify your world all you want to. So what I'm going to be trying to do with y'all the rest of the time, and those that are listening, is how do I focus you on the heart of the watermelon, the heart of the business? And what is the definition of the heart of the business? What's the definition of the heart of the baseball game? What's the definition of the heart of this meeting? Like where are you? What's the center? I mean, if spitting on is the right spot, these guys got it. They got the right spot. Okay. I've got several more, but I've got some more practical tips on how to make money while you're making money. But I want to get somebody up here because I know he's got a crazy schedule. Jason Mathis, come up in here, brother. Come here. How you doing, brother?
Man,
Let's see if this thing can get it working here a minute. We got to turn it on, rub it.
hello. Yeah,
There we go.
I'm doing awesome, Andy. Thanks for having me on, brother.
So, come over this way, Jason. So, Jason, I want you to kind of tell a story about, because this meeting is a result of what he's going to tell you about, and just how much time I'm committing and how much our staff is committing, how much of our resources committing for a few people. It's very difficult to do for one person, but we have done it. So tell them how this evolved.
How this event evolved and what happened to me and when I came up here.
Yep.
God, it's crazy, Andy.
In the book, in the 8 steps.
In the 8
and all
steps. When so my wife opened up her agency, Olga Mathis. I'm Jason Mathis, direct to part of Riddle Nation. Andy,
Yeah, I should
Riddle.
do a better job. These guys got $250,000+ income. It might even be pushing 350 with doing nothing.
Over 6.
Over 600,000 of override income, and it's spread out. How many different hierarchies have you started? How many different ones are producing revenue?
Probably over 17.
So 17 different organizations with potential to grow. Some are growing faster than others, clearly, but just a massive, powerful organization that him and Olga have built. Okay.
So my wife started the agency in 2013. She was a luggage handler for 25 years at American Airlines, throwing bags into the belly of an airplane. I was working at Mama Bama, Bank of America, Merrill Lynch, and she left that job. And a buddy of mine at Mama Bama said, hey, they cut our pay. Why don't you do this as a side hustle, slinging insurance? And I said, hell no. And I said, but maybe Olga wants to do it. And she started working with Andy and his team and Andy Riddle. And she started working with these guys, and she plugged into the system. And a year and a half later, she was making over $9,000 a month, spending about $300 or $400 a week in lead costs. And I thought that was a great ROI. And I was like, wow. And she had been dragging me to these meetings right here. And I said, you know what? I think Olga's figured something out. And I read this book called The Millionaire Maker Manual. And in that book, Albright says, we've trained a lot of great people, like Andy Riddle, Fitz, Davies, Leventovich, Katz. But if you want to get training from me, call my office and I'll train you for free. You know all these gurus on TikTok, social media, YouTube, you know, for $1,500 a day, $5,000 a weekend, they'll train you. I found that attractive and I liked the price, right? So I called his office, and I was doing it part-time. I was still at corporate America. And I called Andy's office and I spoke with Amber. They transferred me to Amber. I said, hey, Amber, it's Jason. I read this book called The Millionaire Maker Manual, and in that book, Andy says he will train people. Is he still doing that? And she said, yes. And I said, well, I've got 80 hours of PTO. I can come up there anytime Mr. Albright wants to train me. And she said, hold on. This was on a Wednesday. And she said, come on, I've got you scheduled for Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday coming up. I got on the HR portal, took that Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, drove up on Sunday. I spent 3 days with Andy right here at the corporate office, 3 days that changed my life and got some world-class training, which he's giving here today, right now, for this week. And it was just unbelievable what you've been doing. Talking to agents like I see you doing right here in your office, how you talk to agents is just absolutely incredible.
So, you know, I'm thinking, how do we accelerate this? And I've had onesie-twos in before. My schedule is stupid. I have to plan it, and then there's feeding everybody. We weren't feeding him. I didn't have the whole corporate staff committed to it. And I saw weaknesses in it, but I also saw the value in it. And I said, we've got to do it where we offer it to more people. So this is the first one we're going to do. We have those that are listening across the country that have attended Instant Thunders. This is part Instant Thunder. A big part of what Jason's saying is just getting into the whole heart of of the Alliance and seeing who we are, because you're here. I mean, this is essentially 5-day training, 4 nights, but you're here 5 days, and we're going, hard. Staff's been told, to pretend like we're traveling to Cincinnati or Houston, we got to be doing it the whole time anyway. Great networking opportunity. So that's what we've done before. With this Albright Intense training, and what we're saying is we want you to get a minimum of 10x what you invested. Really, we want it to be unlimited, but that's the concept. That's where we're trying to go with it. Yes, sir.
Yeah, and the other thing I want, getting new agents here, it takes it takes a new agency owner that you get, and it takes them from your local hotspot or from your home office or the satellite office that you have, and it explodes it. Because I tell agents, I'm like, look, when Olga said she's going to do this alliance thing, I told Andy Riddle when I was at their satellite office in Jacksonville, Florida, off Bay Meadows Road, I'm like, look, anybody can make a website. I want to go up there and make sure they're not doing this thing out of one of those satellite offices. So I tell agents, get up here to this corporate office and you can fit 3 or 4 Walmarts up here. And when people come and see what the Alliance has built, Ryan, it's a different ball game, right? It's like it's tangible. They really see like, wow, I've got something I can get behind. So it's super valuable to get, especially new agency owners up here, and to get the training for everybody is invaluable.
Well, we're glad you're here, and we're glad you got some key people in your organization here, and proud of what you're doing. And I'll see you in a couple of days down there in the West Palm. We're going to go to dinner. All right, thank you. Let me have
Thank you.
Thank you. All right. All right. So his wife's texting me. She's always been, I would say always been top 10. Her production has not backed up, but she's not in the top 10 because she was doing what she's always been doing, killing it, doing great, 20,000, 30,000 a month, steady. Well, she texted me while he was talking, I'm doing this seminars for 10 weeks, and I've already submitted my first $183,000 annuity with F&G and working now on another annuity for $80,000. This is insane. So she's one that her average sale was $1,000. And now if you take $183,000 and only take 10%, that's $18,000. So it's an 18-to-1 ratio on an average sale that she would do. So now people smart though. They go, wait. If I'm going to spend $5,000 over 20 weeks, what I should do is a seminar and take 3 months or 4 months to wrap it up. And I go, you could do that, but you're going to make money slower. Does this concept ring anybody? Slow money versus fast money? And then people are like, is this fast money? It's faster than a job, and it's faster than making $500 a sale. But it is more work. It is smarter work. So it is a higher level, intelligent work. And let me be clear. I love final expense and mortgage protection. And these people that are pushing IULs, Adaki and Bridget, we love all that business. It's great business. We need more people doing it. 100%. But you say, are you only recruiting seminar? No, I'm recruiting final expense, mortgage protection, especially if I recruit somebody that's never been in insurance before in their life. I'm not going to put them doing a seminar. I'm going to start them out with what? Well, have you run a quote on yourself? Run a high quote, medium quote, low quote. Run one on your parents. Run one on your grandparents. Run one on your kids. Run with your nephews. People go like, is this that kind of business where you're going to sell your friends and family? I said run a quote. I didn't stutter. You run quotes. I know how to run a quote exactly. So if you have somebody that you don't know and you're not trying to run a quote, it's embarrassing. If it's somebody you do know, you say, shut up while I figure this out. Because it's your cousin. Right? Like, be quiet. I got this. And then they're trying to help you run a quote. Especially if it's your children. Like, you pushing the wrong button, mama. you know. But if you do it with somebody you don't know, you look inept. Your family knows you're inept. It's a given. And they love you anyway, it's family. So you start like that. We don't start by them in a presentation mode. We start by running quotes on our family. Then we say, all right, we see how that went. And then we expand on it. Now, if they come in and they go like, I've been doing final expense for 20 years, just not figured out how to make more than $150,000. Let me show you. Here's how we do it. You're sitting in front of people that are typically going to give you $85 a month. You're sitting in front of people that have the capability of giving you $500,000. And your average sale is probably going to be more like 80. So do you want to make 1,000 or 80? Now, it's interesting because annuity is not the same as life. It's 10%. So do you want 8,000 or 1,000? So an $80,000 annuity is like an $8,000 life sale. So it's still 8 to 1. So I don't want you. So you tell people you don't have to quit doing final expense. But what if you mixed in 3 seminars? Or what if you called Emily? Who is the Medicare people we got in here? Okay, y'all know we got 100% Medicare split up. Like y'all are going after this. I think Tia's going to announce that. And Gina Hawks is going to organize. So all of y'all are going to go to one spot. The people that were with me in my office, you're going to have to pick between the Medicare or Robbie Kraft and Clay. That's your 2 options. Robbie Kraft and Clay are going to do all the President's Club. Everything's available from NAA. Like they're going to get into it with a small group. So a third of you are going to be with them, and then all the Medicare with Gina. Okay? So how about this? How about you run seminars? How about this? Do you know how many people have doing seminars that don't move any Medicare? I know, right? So what if you got 50 people and they got all that money? Rich people, everybody does Medicare when they turn 65, right? Everybody does. It used to be just poor people, now it's everybody does it, including the rich people. So what if you said, you had a sticker up, what if you had QR codes, Medicare information? And they go like, do you do that? And I go, no, I don't do that, but I got this girl that's unbelievable. And then this girl comes in, and if it's in my downline, I'm making 10% or 15%. And how much work do I have in it? A QR code or a we do Medicare. And so one referral, so now I'm making money out of thin air with seconds. You're only going to make $50. $50 in 10 seconds is good money. Right. I understand it's only 50, but for 10 seconds? Or if one poster, and you just like Medicare specialist, we specialize in this, you don't even preach it, you just have it available. And then when you're doing the intake and you're meeting people, how do you not sell a cancer policy? So, yes, we're going to move annuities. Yes, we're going to move big IULs, but all the little rocks, the little stuff, how much money can be made on based of our seminars? Because it's 50 people worth 500,000, or it's 50 people worth 1,000. It's the same concept. Does that make sense? This takes 20 weeks. This takes 4 weeks. So it's just jamming stuff up. All right. Another jamming stuff up. Okay. You're here and you're learning, but you also got other people. How many people do you have here, Michelle? How many? 2. So it's you plus 2 here. Okay, so you're here, let's call it you're here 40 hours. This person gets 40, this person gets 40, but you're actually here 168. So we got lunch, dinner, before, after, breakfast. So now you've got, call it 50 hours that you can invest here and here. If you did it separately, this will be 40 for you, 50 for her, 50 for him. So all this is getting jammed up into 1 week. What if you had 3 people? It's 25% more value in the same time period. So making $300,000 a year is what you're worth. What if you made $400,000 in the same time period. The speed concept is weird for people. I've noticed it just doesn't ring. All it is mean you were more valuable for 365. That's all it means. You brought 100,000 more value. So for you to go to 300,000 to 400,000, all you needed was for one person to be here. That would increase the value 25%. 3 to 4 is 25%. So that's why I keep coming back to figures. It's just math. I'm not upset. It's just math. Now, this is high-level talk. You're talking figures because people can't argue with you, but if you don't get their emotion, the math will not fix them. So you have to say things that are emotional mixed in with the math. I know, right? That's why a salesperson is no good and an engineer is no good. But if you can get a mathematical wizard that can talk junk, and a mathematical wizard is adding, subtracting, multiplication, and division. Not the hard math. Not circumference under a curve. The amount of water in a hole. Not hydro. Oh, no, I quit. Y'all even, it's funny, I mean, no offense, but there's people that don't even know what I'm talking about. Hydro math. Like water math is hard, difficult to conceive of. Because you think about figuring the water in a pond and then the floor is uneven. Purdue engineer, it's mad. They start doing X, they do an S. Where's an S? Put it this way. If it goes like this, what? No. Out. No. Nah. Okay, we're just add and subtract and multiply and division. It's on the interest side, and then just figuring out how to be nice to people and helpful people. All right. So let's go here. This is you. Who's traveling next? There's a meeting. Is Riddle's? Yeah, Riddle's in here. Where are you at next? It's in Charleston, South Carolina tonight. Come up here, Riddle. You tell them. You can advertise. So all I want people to understand is like, I had to make a decision. Do I get him to come up here or not? Most people, they go like, well, he was back there, so I got him up here. I'm thinking, well, it'll be more effective. During the minute will be more if he's here than if he says it and I repeat it. So tell him where you're going. You got it.
Charleston, South Carolina tonight, Jacksonville, Florida on Tuesday, and Tampa on Thursday.
Okay. So he's going to all these cities. So there's travel. There's travel. He could be going from here to here. I don't know. And then there's travel. So there's a certain amount of time allotted, and then let's call it 8, 8, 8. Okay. So here's the way the big boys do it. How many, if this is you, how many different McDonald's, how many Domino's, how many hotels do you own? We call them legs. If you just catch us, not with just legs. But we call them organizations if we're in a more formal setting. And then if we're recruiting, we have to call it hotels or franchises. Like it's less slang, hotels and franchises. But when you say legs, that's slang because normal people don't know what the word means. So what Riddle wants to know is how many of these, how many legs, and keep in mind, every one of these legs have multiple people. All these different hierarchies. So so all these are different. So if this guy shows up and this guy don't, that still counts as a leg. So let's just do it. Let's just walk him through it. In Charleston, South Carolina, do you know how many legs you're going to be there?
There'll be one tonight.
It's one leg. So only one leg. So I'd be like, bro, you're going to commit your whole body and 8 hours to one leg.
It's on the way home.
Huh?
It's on the way home.
His excuse is it's on the way home. So he's really going to Jacksonville. He's really driving 10 hours, or 11, 10?
7.
If you go straight here.
7.
7, okay. So he's driving 7 hours. Instead, he's going to drive how many?
It's 4.5 there, and then 4 home.
So he's going to take a break and then drive here. So what he's saying is, I'm going to go here, but I'm going to double my value by going here. Might as well, it's on the way. But if his wife says, I don't want you stopping, I want you coming straight home. So he goes from doubling up his money to cutting back. It's nothing wrong with that, but you understand the concept is he's driving anyway. Now, Riddle, is it anything wrong with you getting 2 more leagues in Charleston, South Carolina?
No.
Because you are going to have to make this trip multiple times.
Normally I have more. I'm just having dinner with Jerry's
know.
team. Yeah.
Because what?
I'm having dinner with Jerry's team.
Okay, so
tonight.
it's not a hot spot. You're just having dinner.
With Jerry's team, yeah.
So so are you doing a hot spot in Jacksonville, or are you just saying?
That's a hot spot on
How many
Tuesday.
legs will you have there?
4.
So he's got 4 of these organizations. Now, it may not be 1, 2, 3, 4. It might be 1 in depth, 1 in depth, 1 in depth, 1 in depth. More than likely, it's 4 different legs, 1, 2, 3, 4. Watch this. More than likely, one leg has more people. You have any idea who's your biggest leg there?
It's new, so it's all pretty much the same.
So all of them are equal, like just one
4
person,
people.
just one person, just one person.
Yeah. Yep.
Okay. So he's got 4 times more profitable than he is here. I get it that it's on the way. And if you were doing a hot spot, how many legs does Charleston can you pull together?
4 or 5.
4 or 5. So you could pull 4 to 5. So he's making a decision. I'm not having dinner with 5 people. I'm having dinner with 1. I have people go like, I can't go into the city and only have dinner with 1. I can't be unfair. And I go, why? And they go, because unfairness is bad. This is back to the parable that Jeff Bright did you. Because unfairness is bad. What if he had a good reason? Like there was a contest and they won. Now he's got a good reason. Does that make sense? And all you got to do is say, we had a contest. For all of y'all listening, I'm running contests all the time. Now I've got a plan. Okay, so just like a good excuse, like if you don't come to Stage for Success and I accept your excuse, I will. What do I care? It's not my life. It hurts me because I want to grow Riddle's team and Michelle's team and everybody else's team, and I want to grow Carolyn's team. I need you there. Why? Because the team needs you. Because nobody else looks like you, acts like you, talk to you, has your story. Shelby, you're very important at our next convention, so I want you there. But if you don't come, I'm going to accept any excuse you got. Now, if I come to your town and I have only dinner with 1 people, I'm going to give you excuses to why I only have dinner with 1 people. You need to let me alone, just like I let you alone. That makes sense. John Maxwell told me this. He said, you can't treat everybody like you want to, but you can treat 1 or 2 people like you want to. So why should you treat nobody right when you could treat a few right? So he's made a decision. Now, what he could do is he could have dinner with them. He could have drinks or coffee with the other 4. Or could he say, nope, I'm not even doing that. It's 100% devoted to this couple. But I need for you to understand this. He's making a decision. I know how Riddle works. He's trying his best to stay in here. He's trying not to ease out there. Me and him both ease out on the sides, but we're trying to do the most money. Like Jason Mathis asked a nice question. Does Andy want me there to say something, or can I be riding home looking at it on my phone? He's not trying to get out of work. He's not trying to get home quicker, but if he can watch this and drive, then when it's over with, he's in a different location and he can make more money. You see how he's trying to stay in this circle, but he didn't want to step out of the circle and not be here when I said, "Where's Mathis? Where the hell does he go?" You know what I mean? He don't want anybody like, yeah, he had to leave, you know. So he's trying to balance. The problem is most people are not making decisions. Like if you hadn't played chess before or checkers, like chess people, the first pawn or the first move they make is the plan. It's a plan. They're not by like, that one. That's the way most people run their lives. It's kind of like, opie-dopey-do. Where are you going to sit? I don't know. Who are you going to sit beside? I don't know. You going to sit in the back? It depends. You know what I mean? It's like the circumstances dictate everything in their life as opposed to them dictating the circumstances. Like get her front and like, where are you going to sit? Front row. Where's everybody going to sit? I don't know. That's their problem. What if somebody, blah, 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 blah. You're going to save seats and that's the question is, do you save you two people a seat? Or when do you let them, when do you hand your 3-year-old or 4-year-old a credit card and say, if you don't mind, how about paying a bill for us? When do you let them do it? Like I was a big fan of go pay, you know, and they'd be like, all right, you know, or go to the mailbox or anything you want to do. Like when do you let them start? When do you let your downline? So one thing he'll be talking about with Jerry and Cassie, he'll be like, all right, let's review what your team does. All right, when's y'all's next meeting? What are you saying to them? As you know, who's reading the books? Who's your best people? Because watch this. If this is you, and I'm up here, if this is Mathis, if this is you, and there's Mathis, and there's Riddle, and then here I am, why am I going to work with everybody down in here? What I'm trying to do is work with the easiest, simplest, fastest place to grow 10x. So I ask you, who of all your hundreds of people, of all your folks, who's the best? Here's what people want to tell me. Andy, this person's struggling. They're an idiot. They won't read books. They won't attend conventions. Would you talk to them? And I sound fascinating, people. Because I'm trying not to offend you by trying to take my incredible talent and put me with a dud. So I'm going to take this energy, enthusiasm, opportunity, and throw it in front of somebody who won't listen to you. And you think they're going to listen to me? And they go, yeah, but you're this big thing. Yeah, but you're their friend. You know them. You live near them. They don't know me. Yeah, but I've edified you. Yeah, how about you edifying me when I walk in this person and they come running up with my book, I read this, I've already doing this, I bought my ticket to convention, I've done this. Now I can move along and start teaching at a higher level, not saying things like, have you read my book? Have you signed up for class? You see what I'm saying? Like, do you think I can take this person from $10,000 a month to $250,000 a month? I'm trying to get this person in class for you. I get 10%. Oh, 10% of 250, not 10% of he finally got in class. So you're bringing me your best. Now, if this is you and you only got 2 people, I know who's the best, both of them. You know why? Because they're under you. It's called deep. The deeper they are, the better they are. But if your group looks like this, it's more who's telling me. And then listen, by the way, I'll ask you, and then I'll ask Mathis. And I go, are they right? And he go, there's another one over here that might be better. And then I talk to Riddle, and he'd be like, no, definitely there. And I go, okay, that's the word. I might even say, all right, I'll meet with both of them if y'all are that close on them. But you think about your organization. 99% of y'all, one person is clearly the winner above everybody else. It's really weird. And then if you're going like, no, they all suck. Well, welcome to the world. You know what I mean? Like, that's your first job, is to get one that stands out better than everybody else. One person that steps out. Okay, so back to the same concept of Riddle. Okay? Riddle is going to go, where else are you recruiting besides Tampa, Jackson, Charleston?
Atlanta.
And Houston. Right? Are you in Houston also?
Yeah, Houston.
All right.
Charlotte.
Huh?
Charlotte as well.
Okay. Okay. So, first of all, if you're going to go through booking plane flights, if you book one flight, another flight, what you could do is book one flight that goes here, 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 here. So it's really 4 flights instead of 3 flights. But really, this will be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So you go to 3 places with 6 flights, or 3 places with 4 flights, and you're only on the computer one time booking flights. You see how you're making everything quicker? You could go this week to Charlotte, next week to Atlanta, next week to Houston. And the good news is you're not working as much each week, but it's going to take you longer to get rich. So, because if you go from Charlotte, 24 hours, then the next day you fly to Atlanta, then the next day you fly, you're working a lot of hours versus out there doing some work, come home, sit at home, piddle, social media, television, exercise, talk to your friends, drink, smoke it, all that stuff. Then the next week you go out there and back, and then the next week. So there's 3 weeks to do what you could have done in 1 week. Okay? So you're committing all this time. You're committing, let's call this 3 days of your life, and you've got 1, 2, well, first of all, most people got one person they're working with here. You're already going, and you're already committed to $1,000 to travel. Why not spend $1,000 to run ads so you can get another 2 legs, so that when you're here for 8 hours, you're getting 3 times as much productivity? And a lot of people go, you know what, I'm going to go, but I'm not spending any more money. How about this? Carry books with you. Hand each one of them a book. But Andy, you don't understand, these books are like $10 each. Do you understand, if I give this person a book, it costs me $10. I go, do you understand, if I give you a book and it takes you 2 hours to read it, when I'm not there, that means you got 2 hours smarter, and I put in no time. Because if she gets smarter, my business gets smarter. She hires a secretary, my business gets smarter. She listens to 3-hour audio, my business gets smarter, she gets smarter. I'm trying to get her successful, I'm trying to get her smarter. She got to read my book. And then if you give them Think and Grow Rich, you give them, and then eventually you go, hey, you know what? I'm giving your downline books too. You need to start buying them books. Copy me first, and you need to start buying your own. So you're trying to get them started but you're trying to get massive intelligence for minimum work. I know people that'll take every single phone call from their downline, and they tell me how generous a person they are. And I go, do you ever ask them if they've read the 8 steps before you start talking? No. So what they're doing is they're really dumb is what they are, because they're giving them an hour without the agent they're talking to putting in an hour. So if I start talking to you very much at all, I'm going to say, so let me ask you this, what are you in the middle of reading? And if you go, well, I really need another book, mental note, this person is not that intelligent. I mean, you know what I'm saying? Like, don't get me wrong, if they're brand new, they don't get it. But how do you finish a book and not have 3 books in waiting if you're a smart person? Like, how do you, now all of a sudden, you're thinking about it for 2 days? What is that? What's the return on, what is the ROI on thinking about a book? Yeah, 0. So you got these books lined up. Say, well, right now I'm reading How to Talk to Strangers. I'm reading a book right now. It's, Diane Lampy gave it to me. It's Top Talks of Zig Ziglar. His top talks. Nuh-uh. Napoleon Hill. It's top talks that Napoleon Hill's ever done. Like his top 10 most famous talks. That's what I'm reading. And I've got stuff lined up on the bed, on my table in my living room, on my office. It's just lined up. What's next? What book have I got to read next? So if I'm going to talk to you, you've got to be minimum reading 15 minutes, because if you don't, I'm talking to the same dumb person I left before. Like I talked to you and nothing's changed, and now I'm talking to you. I need for you to have a different perspective, at least 15 minutes different perspective on life from the last time I talked to you. And if it's been 7 days, it's 7 times 15. And if you've listened to a TWC and watched an activity on a Friday and did a product call, you're a totally different person. I'm way more willing to pour into you, to cast pearls, because I don't think you're a hog that's not going to eat. Does that make sense? So what you're trying to get people to do is low-level stuff, not sell IULs. It's read and listen and hang out with the right people, and you know they'll change every week. And now what you do is you goose them. You don't have to talk as hard. You just clarifying and coaching. Because you've coached the basics so hard, it's easier to coach the complicated. It's like you can't teach algebra in the 2nd grade, but once they've been through 7 grades, algebra's easy. Does that make sense? So it's the prep work, but you're selling them on doing the prep work so you can teach the sophisticated. And sophisticated is not complicated. It's things like people skills. It's things like breaking up arguments. It's things like discernment. I think this person's really good, and you've been reading books, and I go, really, you think they're really good? And you go, yeah, I think they're really good. And I go, based on what? And you say, because they want it. And I go, well, tell me about the other ones. Well, this one's not doing anything, but he's an electrical engineer. Whoa, he's an electrical engineer? Well, he's not doing anything. Why is he not doing anything? I said he makes $150,000. Well, would you do anything if he was making $150,000? Let's sell this guy versus a person who's broke, homeless, ain't got nothing else to do, and you're trying to coach them into it, but they're coming to every meeting. You know why? Because you serve food at every meeting. They don't want to do it. They want to eat. You understand, like this person is not coming to your meetings because he's not hungry. But he's smart. But if we could get him going, so we start talking about the discernment. Now, you got a person seemingly no education, know this, he's writing $20,000 a month, and an engineer who's doing nothing but he makes $150,000. Both, to me, they're about equal importance. This one's more focused down the line than this one, because this one, I'm worried about people skills, I'm worried about etiquette, I'm worried about courtesy, I'm worried about integrity, because they've never really kept a job. Usually something happened, or family, they got no family, they couldn't keep a family. Like, you know what I mean? They just can't stick. But don't get me wrong, they're fun while it's going on. You just the 20,000, it's going hard to get it to 250,000 or 400,000, where this guy's got 25 employees now, but he only makes 150,000 with 25 employees. We give him 25 people over here, he's making 600,000. But he's had employees before, and he understands HR. He understands he can't say some things to some people, right? Okay, so what you're thinking is, I'm going to go here, here, and here. Here's another thought. What if Riddle puts his sidekick, his assistant, in the plane? Now they're side by side, and he's talking to them the whole time. He's working on his schedule, planning. This is 1 week. He's planning the next week of his life. So he's planning, he's talking to this person about planning. He gets here, he goes, talks to this person, his assistant goes and talks to this person. How do we jam up time so that when he's there, now his assistant, if you call him 100, his assistant's a 40. But a 40 helping a person is versus 100 not touching them. So the 100, or the badass, is working with the best, and then he puts his sidekick working with the worst. But at least they're getting something, and then hopefully maybe they were at a 40 on the way out because he trained them up. Now they're a 46. So now this is a little bit sharper iron, sharpening iron, versus him over there talking with the most high-powered person. And then the person says, can I talk to Andy Riddle? And Randall's like, Riddle. So T-Money, tell him how much you're selling a month. So T-Money goes like $25,000 a month, recruited 4 people, and says, Shelby, you tracking? That's what I'm talking to her. So I love you. Let's get after it. Believe in you. So it's no offense, but this is my A player. Is that like, and then people are like, well, people don't like to be judged. You got to treat everybody the same. Higher ROI if you pour into the one that'll take it and the one that's already reading. Is this helping? A certain amount of time, think it through. It's called deliberate. Prior planning prevents poor performance. Deliberate decisions. Is A better than B? I like the eye doctor. Is this better? Yeah. Better, worse. Worse. Better. Or worse. Worse. Better. Worse. Better. Back and forth. You go, all right, that one's the one I'm going with. Sometimes you go like, I can't tell the difference. Is there not a difference in me leaving Riddle back? Is a difference in me I decided to bring him up front. Close call. If it was an easy call, anybody could make it. Here's what makes me mad is when it's an easy call and people don't make it. You know what I mean? Like this person's terrible and this person's great. And then they put the terrible one right beside me and the great one is over here talking to a 46. You know what I mean? I'm going like, how could you, how'd you pick that person to talk to me? You know what I mean? But sometimes it's a tough call because both of them are badasses and you're making a close call. Just get them both. Discernment, decision-making with every minute of your day. It's like when this is finished, you need to have a game plan. Give me something else, Riddle, about compounding your time. You want more legs here, more legs here, more legs here. What else?
I remember when you were telling me about this years ago, I was talking to you about one of my biggest. I would go out and travel and go to multiple cities, and then the next week I'd be at the office trying to catch up from what I was doing at the beginning of the week. Second part of the week I'd be planning my next week, and I felt like I was working every other week. And you basically told me I needed a Missy or an Amber to do all that stuff, so I can not stop. I can keep going every week traveling, and they're doing all the follow-up stuff and planning the week going forward. And that changed. Having a personal assistant changed too, to compound me being able to be out there more doing what I do.
So for those of you that are talking to Robbie and Clay next, and all of you are going to get a chance to speak with them, is we used to sell recruiting appointments. Like y'all saw me interview 13 people. Well, I had 13 to call in 2 hours. A lot of y'all, it's 4 people at the most. in 2 hours. If I'm talking to 13, you're talking to 4, I don't have to be better at all. If I'm the same quality as you, I get twice as many people because I talk to twice as many. So jam it up. So we used to sell those appointments for $15, and we still will. Glad to. It costs money. It's a pain. We don't like it. But if you hired the person directly, you could probably get those appointments for $6. So, well, then why are they 15? I can do it for 6. Okay, you do it for 6. If I can get, if we've got 10 people and trying to manage that and selling $15, I would rather we have 200 people in the Philippines booking appointments for everybody, and y'all get them for $6. See, to me, it's more important to have more of you recruiting than it is for us to make $1 selling an appointment to recruit. You say, well, couldn't you just lose money and give it to us? We could, but I'm a discerning individual. And I have noticed the more places I lose money, the less money I have. So I tend to not do things that lose money. Like I'll just stop doing them. Or I'll double the price. But I won't keep losing. I'm not doing it. Personal assistant. Do you remember the first time you hired somebody?
Yeah.
How bad were they?
Not. It wasn't a train wreck. I've had train wrecks. It wasn't my first one, but my first one was okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
How did you know they could get one better?
Well, I didn't until I hired, and then you told me to have more than one, and that's when I knew the second one was better than the first one.
It's hard when you got a secretary. When you got 2 secretaries, you know which one's better. You hire one person in the Philippines, you think they're good, wait until you hire 3. One of them's going to be 10 times better. It is weird how competition sorts people out. Bolivia, Jason has an organization he set up if you want to hire Bolivia. He likes it because the time zone's the same. Philippines time zone's different. I just tell them these are the hours, and if they blink, they're not my guy, my girl. So to me, same hours, same time zone. I can't tell the difference because I tell them these are time zone. Hey guys, it's my little talk on try to concentrate. More heart of the watermelon, more money per hour. So you just do the math. If you go to $1,000 an hour for 40 hours, that's $40,000 a week. That's $2 million a year. So what if it cost you $800,000 to create a situation where you're only making $1,000 an hour? Then you're netting 1.2. It sounds crazy, but I'm just telling you, you're trying to figure out how to stay in the heart and stay out of the S. And if you wait until you have the money to pay, it's the same thing as waiting for the fireplace to get hot before you put firewood in it. That's what people always say to me. I'm going to hire in the Philippines. I'm going to hire a person that's local. I'm always going to do everything tomorrow. And I go, that's when you're going to get rich, is tomorrow. That's when you make $1 million a year, tomorrow. You got to start spending it before you got it. How do you do that? Borrow it from mama, borrow it from your wife, borrow it from your husband, borrow it from your daddy, borrow it from Chase. Chase credit card. Like, I don't have a credit card. Nobody trusts me. I ain't got no money. You're not who we're looking for. What am I going to do? Start selling. Work 100 hours a week selling. Well, that's not fair. I got kids. Hey, bro. You had the sex, now you got the baby. I don't want to tell you. And don't tell me you didn't know it was going to happen. Slow and easy, and all of a sudden. Woo! Tia, I'm done. Wrap them up.
Hey, we're good now? Okay. All right, so this is what we're doing next. You have a little bitty break. And then, hold on, phone's ringing. Is that an emergency? Nope. Okay. So at 2:30,